Welcome to Life on Your Terms, LOYT, where you are training right now, like an athlete, to be more at peace and fulfilled in your life. And I want to congratulate you because you are doing something that most people never do in their entire lives. And that's take the time to deliberately invest in themselves. And a lot of people don't do it because there's a stigma to self-help, which we're not doing, by the way. Because self-help indicates something's broken inside of me. Something's wrong inside of me. I must fix myself. And immediately with self-help and starting to be like, oh, I got to fix myself. Well, that's not a good way to start the journey. Personal transformation is what we're going to do together. Says, hey, this is where I am, and that's where I want to go. Personal transformation is just the simple act of not adding more, but removing who we are not. Going to the most authentic version of ourselves. And that's personal transformation. So I'd like to take a moment to formally introduce myself to you. My name is Michael Ian Cedar. You can call me MIC if you wish. And throughout this entire journey together for Life on Your Terms, I'm going to be your guide. And I'll be here teaching you how to be more at peace in your life's journey and more fulfilled. And to me, already just saying that, doesn't that just sound like such a great investment of your own time and energy? And speaking of time, we are going to be spending a lot of time together. I want to give you some insights into myself. By trade, I'm a mindset and leadership coach. I'm also the host of the group called the Gratitude Slam. And as a coach, I am so grateful that every day I have the opportunity to work with people from all walks of life so that they can live more freely, feel more freely, and have more control redirecting the energy that comes with guilt, anxiety, and darkness, and transmute that energy into something productive and fulfilling. This is my promise to you. When you also learn how to transmute that experience of guilt, anxiety, and darkness into something more productive, you will start every single day living life on your terms. And so what makes me qualified to even have this conversation with you? Because I'm a student just like you are. But what makes me believe that I'm qualified to have this conversation is two things. They're very simple. The first thing is my entire life. There is not a time in my life that I cannot think of that I haven't been wildly passionate about personal transformation and about human potential. And the second reason I feel qualified to talk about this is the reason I wanted to learn the tools is from child to early adult into adult. I myself suffered greatly through debilitating anxiety, debilitating guilt, and debilitating darkness. The lowest point of my life to date, hopefully ever, and I don't have to go back to this kind of place ever again, is in my early 30s. I was going through a divorce that obviously I wasn't expecting to go through. I was in a gargantuous amount of debt after having a massive amount of financial success. I utterly crashed my career. And worst of all, I totally lost myself. And what I mean by that is people around me were like, I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm not sure you know who you are. I don't know if you've ever heard statements like that currently or in the past of your life. But I lost myself because I couldn't even imagine and project what I wanted in the future. Not only could I not think like, oh, what do I do next? Not only could I not clarify the confusion of like, I don't know where to put my energy. I couldn't even see 5 minutes in front of me. I couldn't even think like, well, let me just figure out what I'm doing 5 minutes from now. What am I going to have for lunch? And I was ridiculously scared of being alone. And I was wildly fearful of being rejected by other people, which of course, those two things completely conflicted with each other. So I just shut down and turned off. And eventually I felt so much pain that I said, you know what? I am determined that this experience of guilt, anxiety, and darkness has some sort of meaning behind it. Like I am not going to go through this just to go through this. And so I was determined to find meaning out of that suffering that I was going through and the suffering that I went through in my earlier parts of my life too. And I was like, not only do I want to make meaning out of it for myself to go, wow, there's a purpose for this. But I was like, I am also going to teach others to never have to get to the place that I was. And also for those in a similar place to be able to go, hey, I know the way out of here. And to be able to say, let me show you the tools. And so Here's the conclusion of that part of my life is over a period of time, I said, I'm going to commit to fully immerse myself to become the best version of me, to become the most authentic version of me, to remove who I was not, to remove any layers of armor I put on just to feel good about myself in the day. And as soon as I started doing that and immersing myself in that world that I can control my destiny, I can control the way I feel, what ended up happening is very shortly after that immersion, like we're doing here, I started experiencing immediate clarity of what comes next. My creativity went through the roof. And I don't mean creativity like painting or writing a song. I mean creativity of showing up for other people. Now, do I still have moments where I have guilt, anxiety, and moments of darkness? You bet I do, because I'm human. And unless you tell me otherwise in an email or direct message, I'm assuming you're human too. And there's a reason we have those feelings in our life. But what's different for me now is I have tools to be able to move through that guilt and anxiety and darkness. And I can't stop all the pain in the world for you. But what I can do is any pain that you do have, my promise to you is I'm going to help you move through it faster. Not only faster, but I'm going to help you move through it healthier too. And doesn't that sound like an amazing use of our time together? Being human is not about being perfect. I know some people will disagree with me on that right now, but stick with me. In fact, anyone that thinks being perfect is what it is to be human will never remove the debilitating feelings in their life. In fact, it's the total opposite. Being human is the ability to handle and embrace and even love the imperfections that we have in ourselves. And inside that imperfection, being able to say, what do I do with this? What do I do with this imperfection? What do I do with the fact that this situation is not perfect? What do I have control over? And by the way, that's what gratitude is. The ongoing search for what is the best thing in the moment. It doesn't mean we're looking for rainbows and unicorns and blue skies. It just means we're going, well, what do I control? Because I hear so many people really holding themselves back by trying to focus on things they have no control over, whether it be the weather or their behavior of their romantic partners or things their family members say. And so gratitude is, again, ability to go, what do I control? What do I have here that I can control? What is the best thing here? And you're going to hear me say over and over and over and over and over again, gratitude is an attitude. Attitude is a skill. A skill is a habit, and a habit can be learned. And so our time together, it's not this magical thing that comes out of nowhere. We're building new habits. We're learning tools that we keep applying to build a skill so that skill becomes a habit. And that's why our time together is so important right now. Because we're going to be building a muscle, just like when you go to the gym. You don't go to the gym and go, I'm going to lift this muscle. The next day, you're like, look at this, honey. It doesn't work like that. We're building the muscle of gratitude, the ability to be able to see, what do I have right now? And what do I do with it? And the ability for us to consistently see our worlds through the lens of gratitude, that muscle, and build that mindset of gratitude, what do I have? That allows us to live a life of LOYT. You deserve to be at peace in your life. That's why I'm here for you. And my promise, again, is those who make an ongoing commitment to learning how do we accept the imperfections and strengthen our gratitude muscles. Those who do that, including you, will move quickly towards building a life on your terms.